Hello, I'm Kathy Riggs, Utah State University Extension Professor for Family and Consumer Sciences. The question I will answer today is regarding home food preservation safety. After all, home food preservation safety is priority number one. Have you ever asked yourself the question, how can I be sure the foods I have preserved at home and placed on my storage shelves are safe for my family to eat? Looking for visible evidence of spoilage such as mold, a lack of a seal, perhaps the food is slimy to the touch, or there's an off color. These are all a great place to start. However, before you prepare your next batch of peaches or green beans for processing, I would like to review 5 key guidelines provided by science and research-based resources that will help you guarantee that your home preserved foods are safe. Guideline number 1 is to use current and tested canning recipes. Food preservation is the process we follow to treat and handle food to keep it from spoiling. We want to prevent spoilage and remove harmful bacteria in the safest way possible. Thankfully, science has come a long way in maximizing our margin of safety, that is, if we adhere to those findings. There are 4 highly recommended sources of what we call tested recipes. First is the USDA's Complete Guide to Home Canning. Next is So Easy to Preserve from the University of Georgia Extension Service. Third is the Ball Blue Book Guide to Preserving. Also, for those who prefer to have an electronic source of tested recipes, the National Center for Home Food Preservation at www.nchfp.uga.edu utilizes USDA-endorsed recipes and includes access to the Complete Guide to Home Canning. Guideline number 2 is to use only approved up-to-date canning methods. Food preservation using moist heat is generally referred to as canning. Now there are 2 main methods approved for preserving food using heat and moisture, which is water, namely pressure canning and water bath canning. Pressure canning is the only approved method for low-acid foods such as meat, poultry, fish, and vegetables. These foods have the potential for causing botulism food poisoning. Therefore, they must be processed using enough pressure to reach 240 degrees Fahrenheit inside the canner, and that level of pressure must be maintained for the amount of time listed in the approved recipe. To reach 240 degrees Fahrenheit at altitudes above sea level, additional pressure must be added. These required adjustments can be made using either the dial or weighted gauges. Water bath canning is used for high acid foods, including most fruits, pickles, acidified tomatoes, and many tomato-based products like salsa. I should also mention that new information for safely using steam canners for high acid foods has been released. The update is found on the National Center for Home Food Preservation website. That link is posted for you here. Guideline number 3 is to follow canning directions exactly. The easiest way to undo the time and effort put into producing a high-quality preserved food item is to treat the process lightly. Remember the mention earlier of science and research? When it comes to food preservation, it's crucial and in some cases life-saving to pay attention to and follow instructions exactly. The area that can be adjusted is in the amount of herbs and spices. For example, you could choose to put in less salt and more cilantro, or more black pepper and less cayenne pepper. Guideline number 4. Make altitude adjustments by adding more time to water bath canning or increasing pressure for pressure canned products. Not all bacteria, mold, spores, etc. are created equal, or in other words, not all bacteria are killed at the same rate or at the same temperature. That is why some foods can be processed safely using water bath canning, and others need temperatures that can only be achieved under pressure. Processing methods and times found in approved recipes and guidebooks have been calibrated properly to preserve foods by removing oxygen, destroying enzymes, preventing growth of undesirable bacteria, yeast, and molds, and help form a high vacuum seal in jars. Whether you add time or increase temperature when preserving foods at your altitude depends on if you live at sea level or not. Please search for altitude tables in the canning guide you choose to use and match it to your respective altitude. The National Center for Home Food Preservation and USDA include those charts and tables right along with the recipe. And guideline number 5 is to make certain canned products have a proper lid seal. Good vacuums form tight seals which keep liquid in and air and microorganisms out. A tight seal is generally one that cannot be broken without the assistance of a can opener. Let me demonstrate what that sounds like. I'll just take this rim off and listen closely. There we go. So a strong tight seal alone, however, does not mean the contents in the jar are safe to eat. It's also necessary to follow the previous 4 guidelines to be 100% certain. To review the key points needed to assure you have safely processed foods: first, use current and tested recipes. Number 2, use only approved canning methods. Number 3, follow directions exactly. Number 4, make those altitude adjustments for time and temperature. And finally, number 5, make certain canned products are properly sealed.